What up, people? This is Charles West here with the Trendaholic, giving you a review of Samsung's Transform Ultra by Sprint. Let's run through the box real quick. Get up in here. I already have the phone powered on, so just wanted to give you a nice little box presentation, unboxing, quote-unquote unboxing presentation here. As you can see, you have your big old manual that tells you how to operate the phone. We're not going to run through that because it'll just take forever, but as you can see, it's in here. Now, other little treats is your standard wall plug that's also hooked up by the USB cord. USB cord is every company is pretty much doing this now, where you get the cord and you get the phone and you can pretty much disable them and use them for your computer as well. As you can see, I didn't even open this one because I just been charging the phone with my own charger because it's just about identical. Also, Sprint was kind enough to leave in a micro SD adapter that you can use when you pop out your SD card. You can pop it up in here and slide this bad boy in your printer to print pictures, photos, or whatever, or also just slide it up in your computer where you can take off, the photos that you want, documents as well. I do that a lot. Yeah, this thing is becoming very helpful as far as the evolution of phones, because a lot of people are just doing a lot of work on their phones nowadays, so these are becoming more important to have. Alright, let's put this back up in here, package this all back in, close it up. Nope. Okay, whatever, it's not working. Alright, now to the phone. Here we have a screen that's a HVGA 320 by 480 TFT screen. Yes, I know that was a mouthful, but in layman terms, it's a pretty standard basic phone. Samsung didn't put any AMOLED screen on here, so you don't have any colors or features that pop out, so to speak. On the back, we have the 3.2 megapixel with LED flash. This is also pretty standard. Actually, this is probably below standard nowadays. Most phones carry 5 megapixels at least. With this, you get 3.2 megapixels that can pretty much take decent photos when you're out in public places or whatnot. The flash is always important to enhance those photos at night. Also, Samsung was also kind enough to add a processor, a pretty decent processor, a 1 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, which is pretty, I'm not sure what kind of processor it is. I'm not, that, knowledgeable as far as the guts of a phone, but I would say the 1 gigahertz processor handled pretty well with flash oriented sites, YouTube videos, Netflix handled pretty well on this as well, and that's all due to the 1 gigahertz processor in here. As I power it on, as you can see, the screen quality is pretty decent, not great, but also the battery life was handled pretty well. What Samsung says is that this phone can you can have talk time up to 7 hours, but what impressed me the most with this phone is that the standby time was pretty good. I've had this phone on for days, sitting at my desk, and it stayed on the entire time. The battery lasts pretty good. The battery is a 1500 mAh, so that's a pretty good size for a phone like this, for a mid-range phone. Um, yeah, battery's pretty good. Now, as far as the QWERTY keypad, check that out. QWERTY keypad's pretty nice for those of you out there who still haven't made the jump to touchscreen. Predominantly touchscreen phones who don't have keypads. But if you're still into that type of thing, this is a pretty respectable keypad. As you can see, all of the nice layout here. The buttons are nice rubber. It has a nice feel to it. It doesn't have a cheap feel to it, which is pretty impressive if you consider it being made by Samsung, because you know they're classic for the cheap, sometimes plasticky feel. But with this phone, they made sure to add a bunch of rubber to those buttons, and I mean it gives it a nice feel. They also have the directional buttons here. Now, I'm pretty sure these could be used for games. I didn't really get, heavily into the games, but when I reviewed it, but I like it because, sorry about that. I like it because I was able to use it for, just directional things. Like if I wanted to, for instance, look, see how the G is highlighted? Press the directional button. Hey, I want to get to the box. Press right, and there you go. You could move to certain places without having to touch the screen, which is, important to some people out there who, again, likes to have physical keypads. Okay, now let's get to the bloatware, or the industry term, pre-installed apps. Sprint, just like every other carrier nowadays, is make sure they add a bunch of pre-installed apps that favor their company. Quick Video is one of those pre-installed apps. You also have Sprint Zone, and you also have Sprint Wallet. We can, here you go. Let me hit Sprint Wallet real quick. Sprint Wallet is, I assume, is a app that lets users, store a lot of their personal information in there for shipping and for checking out and buying things. Not sure why you would use it, but to each its own, I guess. All right, let's get out of there. Okay. Press home. Okay, I'm out, finally. Okay, what other pre-installed apps we have here? We have Sprint ID, and you have ThinkFree Office. That's about it. Another thing about this phone is it's not 4G. There's no WiMAX on this phone whatsoever. It's just 3G. As you know, a lot of people who have Sprint out there, Sprint's 3G service is sketchy at times. That's putting it mildly. Even in Connecticut out here, the 3G service is really sketchy. I know because I have Sprint, and I can tell you that the 3G service is sketchy, and a lot of times I just operate on the WiMAX network. That said, calls were pretty decent. If I'm in patchy areas, the calls would break away a little bit. But other than that, if I'm in the city, where I live in the city actually, calls perform pretty well. All in all, it's a pretty good device. Most people should like it. For the price point, you can't get mad. I mean, look, as you can see, I forgot to even mention this, sorry about that. Front-facing camera, which is also pretty good for a mid-level phone. All in all, I mean, you should be happy. It's a pretty good phone. You can't really argue with the price point. I mean, Sprint has it for $79.99. That's after a $50 mail-in rebate. So, to get this phone for $80, not too bad. Can't really complain. Also, the phone carries Android Gingerbread 2.34. Google's latest operating system at the moment until Ice Cream Sandwich rolls out. But that's another story. I can't wait for that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the whole pretty much everything I could say about the Transform Ultra. Pretty decent phone, $80. You can't get upset with that. For more information, be sure to check out thetrendaholic.com. We'll have other things on there so you can look at, other shots that you may want to see. And if you have any questions, always feel free to leave them either on the YouTube thread or hit the site. That's it. Thanks.